just going to give you, I don't know, maybe 22 seconds to come on in. Why do you think I said 22? Why is 22 special to me? 22. It's because I want to give a shout out to, it's just an excuse to give a shout out to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, because we have 22 founders. All right. So thank you again for showing up. Before I get started, I want to say an extra special thank you to helping me reach not 10,000 LinkedIn followers, not 11,000, not 12,000, not 13,000. I mean, 13,000 people. Can you imagine? Not 14, but 15,000 LinkedIn followers. I am so grateful, so very grateful. And I relate to them as 15,000 connections. 15,000 souls. So I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being willing to share my videos. I know you all have been commenting on my videos. I ran into a coach at ICF Converge who said, actually, I started following you because one of my colleagues sent me your Core for Coaches, the LinkedIn Lives that you do. So I'm just grateful. I'm so very, very grateful. I want you to know I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. It means a lot that you spend your time. You take time out of your day to come and be with me and come maybe to learn something, to offer something for someone else to learn. And I'm really grateful for that. So thank you so much. And that's what this Core for Coaches is all about. It's all about collaboration. It's all about supporting each other. So I am grateful. So I had a goal at the top of this year to reach 15,000 followers or 15,000 connections here on LinkedIn. And I'm so grateful that I can say, yes, I did it. I did it. We did it. We did it. And I want to say my LinkedIn audience, if you will, or my following has gone up by a little more than 3,000. I'm thinking that's pretty good. I'm not a social media expert, so I think it feels good to me. If you're a social media expert, you let me know. Is that good? I mean, to grow over 3,000 connections on LinkedIn in a matter of months, you tell me if that's good. Anyway, it feels really good. So welcome. Who am I? I am Sophia Casey. Sophia Casey. I am a master certified coach. That's how you say coach in ASL. I am a master certified coach. And I am so proud to be able to say that I am a master certified coach because the MCC credential is the highest credential in our industry. I'm just saying. I am unapologetic about bragging about that because it took a lot of work. In order to be a master certified coach, you have to have coached a minimum of 2,500 hours. That's a lot of coaching. That's a lot of sharing. That is an enormous amount of holding space. So shout out to my fellow MCCs. Shout out to my mentees who are on their way. They're on the road to MCC. I'm so excited, so grateful to be able to mentor coaches towards their ACC, PCC, and MCC credentials. All right, so thank you for helping me reach 15,000 connections. I love it. Love it. And as an extrovert, I really, really love it. I'm connected to 15,000 people. All right. So today, first of all, let me not step over this. So I was supposed to be here with you all last week, but I was on international travel. And I tell you, the internet gremlins, the tech gremlins, they were having a field day. So the technology wasn't that great. So I decided to just wait and come to you all live and in living color today. So hopefully you used that last week when I wasn't here. You used it to review some of the old videos. You used it to work on your business. You used it to learn more about the ICF, learn more about the ICF core competencies, learn more about coach training. So hopefully you use that time wisely. And hopefully you used it to get some good rest, like I did. I certainly did. All right. So today what we're going to talk about, and of course we just have a little bit of time together, just a few minutes. I want to dive into the series around the new ICF core competencies. So as you all know, coaches in our industry under the ICF umbrella, International Coaching Federation umbrella, we are held to a very high standard. And the rubric, if you will, that we use to coach at a high standard is called the ICF Coaching Core Competencies. So the core competencies have been around for quite some time. And recently, as recent as earlier this year, task force got together. Actually, a few task forces got together and took a look at the core competencies, took a look at where they could be strengthened, improved, maybe even streamlined a little bit more, and then submitted those recommendations to the International Coaching Federation. And from that, we got these new and improved 2025 ICF core competencies. And I'm grateful to say I was a part of that work. I'm so grateful for that. Hello. It was awesome. One of the highlights of my year, hands down. So I'm going to walk you through all 8 core competencies, one core competency at a time. And today I want to dive a little bit around ICF core competency number 1, which is what? Who knows what it is? Yeah, let me not do all the work. Okay, core competency number 1 is all about ethics. Ethics. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about ethics in action, ethics in coaching. Like, what does it mean to be an ethical coach? So that's a question I have for you. What does ethical coaching mean to you? Like, what does it really mean in practice? Like, we can talk about ethics in theory for sure, but what does it mean to you in practice? And give me just a moment. I'm going to check in with my team here because I forgot to tell my team I actually can't see if he sends me messages, Malik. All right, we're good to go. So I want to know, what does it mean for you? Okay, and we'll put that question up here on the screen. What does ethical coaching mean to you in practice? So not just theory, but what does it mean to you in practice? You know, one of the things that we talk about all the time in coach training is that we don't want to assume that our definitions are the same as our clients' definitions. So I don't want to assume that my definition of ethical coaching is the same as your definition. And so thus I am asking you for your definition. So give me a minute. I'm going to give you a moment to just chime in there. Hold on, coaches. There we go. Chime in. What does ethical coaching mean for you? Like, how do you define that? How do you define that? And hey, Coach Femi is here. Coach Bridget is here. So excited. So excited to see you. You too. If I haven't said hello, it's just because I can't see you yet, but I promise as soon as I do, I'll say hello. So what does it mean to you? What does ethical coaching mean to you? Okay. So I want to be clear about the 2025 ICF core competencies, because I've heard some rumbling that, oh my gosh, they changed it again. Now I got to get used to something else, something new. They've changed these core competencies again. And here's the thing. Don't you want to be a part of an organization that validates their work, that is always looking ahead and into the future and making sure that our industry is up to par? I do. I do. So I'm actually happy that the ICF calls together several teams to actually look at, review, maybe change, right? Or update the ICF core competencies. And they do that about every 5 years. So I'm grateful for that. So, okay, let me just check in with you. What are your definitions of ethical coaching? So what I will share is that the ICF didn't make a lot of changes. Okay, so that's where I was going with that. The ICF did not make a lot of changes, but I have it that the changes that they made are very rich. I'll say it that way. So, okay. Hello, Janice Brown. Another coach is in the house. Coach Janice says, to her, ethical coaching means being honest and acting with integrity in our interactions. Yes, Coach Janice. Coach Janice she just did it for me. I'm good. I can go home now. Absolutely spot on. So, when we talk about ethics and coaching, we are talking about being honest about what we provide in the relationship with the client, being honest about our skills, being honest about our coaching rate, being honest about the logistics of coaching, being honest about what coaching is and what coaching is not, and being people of integrity. Being people of integrity. Woo, thank you for that, Coach Janice. All right, I want to hear from the rest of you. What does it mean to you? What does ethical coaching mean to you? And I'll check in with you. Malik, if you see some other comments, please just put them up. So, okay, we got another one. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. So Coach Janice says, referring clients to other support professionals when it's appropriate. Absolutely. I was so happy when I went through coach training over a decade ago, a long time ago, but I was so happy that there was this expectation, not for me to be the expert in all the things, but it was an understanding and an expectation that if my client asked me something or requested something that was outside of my lane as coach, I didn't have to, I hear this all the time, fake it till I make it. I didn't have to fake anything. I didn't have to pretend that I wasn't expert in what they were asking me about. I didn't have to do that. What could I do instead? What did I do instead? I actually recommended that they consider working with another professional on those specific areas. Okay. So an example is, and Janice, thank you for this. An example is one of my clients many years ago, and he doesn't mind me sharing this. And he's also a coach and speaks around coaching all the time. So a long time ago, he hired me to be his, one-on-one coach. So I was very, very grateful for that. And in our coaching work together, he started asking really specific questions about business startup, specific questions about business and revenue changes and things like that. And at first, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Just like Coach Janice said. So in all authenticity, when I first got the questions, and I'm sure you can relate, immediately what happened is, I started to get a little nervous, maybe a little sweaty palms, because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's asking me about all these things, economics and this and that. Like, I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. And I just took some deep breaths and I remembered who I was. I remembered what my role is as coach. And I shared with him like, hey, I'm actually not an expert in those areas. I do have a colleague who is a phenomenal business expert. So I'm an expert in some aspects of business, but for what you're asking for, I want to encourage you to actually seek out like a business consultant. Did you catch that? I'm a coach. I'm going to encourage you to seek out and get supported by a business consultant. Now, I am a consultant too, but in that relationship, I was not. So I actually connected him with a colleague of mine and they skipped away happily ever after. So that worked out very well. So he was able to still work with me as his coach, but he also had a business consultant. So he got the best of both worlds. So thank you. Yes, being a part of, or a big part of ethics and coaching is to be clear about what we do and what we don't do. And unfortunately, I don't like to even say this, but it is the truth. Unfortunately, I see, and I know you do too, lots and lots and lots of coaches out there on this wonderful World Wide Web, out there in these internet streets, promising a lot, Like you will be a New York Times bestselling author by the time you finish working with me. Right? I see a lot of coaches, unfortunately, out there offering tons of advice, struggling around using ChatGPT or Googling, trying to find the answers to questions that their clients have asked them. That's not in their lane. And I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to give yourself permission to not know. Give yourself, can you put that in the up here for me, Malik? Give yourself permission to not know. That just really hit me. Give yourself permission to not know. Give yourself permission to be in the unknown. It is okay to not know. It's completely okay. Give yourself permission to not know. And if you will, if you're still here with me, yes, I see you are. Please, you all put that in the chat too. I want to just flood the comments with that. I'm giving myself permission to not know. Put that in the comments. I'm giving myself permission to not know. Like, that's the wonderful thing about our work. That's the wonderful thing about being an executive coach. And as an executive life coach, I'm an expert in a whole lot of things. I work with a lot of executives. I've worked with executives for most of my career, right? So there's some stuff I know. Absolutely. As a life coach, I've done a lot. I've lived a lot. There are lots of things that I know. But in the coach-client relationship, what's most important is what the client knows or what the client wants to discover, not my expertise. All right, I'll get off that soapbox for now, since we have to move a little further. So what changes actually occurred as a part of the 2025 ICF core competency? So I'm just going to give you like 5 quick bullets of things that have changed. Okay, just a few key shifts that I want you to pay attention to. And of course, if you have more questions about this, just DM me. You can send me a message. I'm always happy. My friends and my colleagues will tell you I'm always happy to talk about core competencies and coach training. Okay, so I'm just going to give you 5 key shifts, if you will. Number 1, so there's more of an emphasis, on the coach's awareness of their biases and how those biases, their biases, might impact the coach-client relationship. So there's more of a light being shined on, hey, coach, have you paid attention to your possible biases? And a lot of times when people hear biases, they think about, thank you, Malik. A lot of times when people hear biases, they think about like racial biases or gender biases. So certainly those, you can have biases in those areas as well. But a bias can also be, which I've discovered, I could have a bias around demographics or age demographics, right? So like if a coach comes to me, and I do coach a lot of coaches, and let's say the coach is much, much, much younger than me, then a bias could be that, oh, I'm thinking that I need to take care of them more because they're still growing as a coach. No, they're a coach. I don't need to take care of them. I don't need to take care of people who are older than them either, right? So a bias can show up in many, many different ways. And I have some phenomenal colleagues that actually do a lot of training around biases and how to quiet the biases. And if you're interested in that, please connect with us at our school, ICLI Rising. And I know that my team member, Malik, will put that down in the comments, iclirising.com. We are happy to connect you with those wonderful, wonderful trainers. Number 2, there is more of an expanded language around confidentiality and consent. Confidentiality and consent, so, so, so important. You want your client to feel safe in this relationship, this called coach client. You want your client to feel psychologically safe enough to say what there is to say, to share their dreams. Sometimes clients, and I know you all can relate to this, sometimes clients come and share things with me that they haven't shared with anyone, including their family members, their loved ones, their colleagues. So we really, really wanted to make sure that there was expanded language around confidentiality and consent. Number 3, inclusion of coaching across power dynamics, identity, and culture. What does that mean? Inclusion of coaching across power dynamics and identity and culture. So one of the things that I train on in our coach training school is for our coaching students to be aware of relationships. What is your relationship to the client? Is it like this? Which is ideal, right? I am equal to the client. Many times what happens when we first start working with a client, or if we wear other hats like I do, like I'm also a consultant, I'm a facilitator, I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker, right? Sometimes what could happen is that the power dynamic is created like this. There's a hierarchy, and our clients start to look to us for advice and answers. Okay, so we just want to be aware of that, and also across cultures too, right? Maybe your client is from a culture where I had a client who was working on strengthening their assertiveness. I'll put it that way, right? In terms of the work and their career. And in their culture, there are certain things that you do to show your assertiveness, and there are things that you don't do to show your assertiveness. Now, me living here in the US in this Western culture, I had a completely different experience and definition of assertiveness. So it was great that I actually spent some time hearing from my client, listening to my client, learning more about their cultural nuances, or their impact of their culture in terms of how they define assertiveness. So there's a lot more, I should say, more inclusion of coaching across power dynamics, and more of a light shined on that. Number 4, I'm going really fast. Reinforce responsibility to refer out when needed. That's what Coach Janice just offered earlier. Thank you, Coach Janice. That's why I said thank you to her. So yes, we are reinforcing that in these 2025 ICF core competencies, the responsibility of the coach to refer out if the client is asking for something that's not in the coach's lane. And you know what? Frankly, I am so grateful for that. I am so grateful when the light bulb went off for me in coach training school, like I said, over a decade ago. And I learned that I did not have to be the expert in all these things. I coached mainly IT executives, which is so funny because I know how to turn my computer on and off. That's about it. I coached IT executives. Can you imagine the relief that I felt knowing that I don't have to know everything about cloud computing or servers and mainframes? I don't have to be the expert in any of that in order to support this person with having what it is they say they desire. Okay. So when those kind of things came up that were outside of my lane, I can suggest that they actually seek out another professional. And number 5, drum roll really fast. That was my drum roll. Okay. Number 5, what was also interjected, if you will, in the 2025 ICF core competencies is explicit responsibility to uphold client autonomy. Malik, I know I'm working you overtime, but if you can put that down here, I really want to shine a light on that. So that 5th bullet, explicit responsibility to uphold client autonomy, or put it in the comments is fine as well. What does that mean? And I'm so grateful for this key shift. There was already a emphasis around the clients in the driver's seat. I say it all the time in coach training. The client's in the driver's seat. The client leads. The client is responsible. The client owns this whole process, right? So we knew that as coaches. And what the ICF has done is really shine an even brighter light on that, to say that it is one of our number 1 responsibilities is to hold that as true, that the client makes the decisions for themselves. The client is responsible. The client owns their outcome. So if that's the case, right, if the responsibility is of the clients, if they own it, all of it, why do I have to perform? Look away. I'm not talking about you all. I'm talking about those other coaches. Okay, so just look away. Let me say that again. If my responsibility as coach is to hold this space as sacred for the client to own, to be in charge of, to lead, to be the expert, there's no need for me to show up in performance. Oh my goodness, I could teach a whole session on that, but not today. I can't. Let me just check in really quickly with all of you. I just got so wrapped up, I forgot. So hi, Coach Femi, so good to see you. Dr. Denise Hendricks, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you. She says, I'm giving myself permission to not know. Come on. And I want to hear what shift that creates for you. Absolutely. So Coach Femi says, there are coaches and then there are coaches. I love that. Malik, we are so in tune. You put that up right as I read it. Yes, there are coaches and then there are coaches. And Femi, you know, I want to hear more about that. All right, let's see. Coach Janice says, referring clients to other support professionals when it's appropriate. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, Coach Bridget. Yes, yes, yes. She says, I'm happy to have been able to catch you, Coach Sophia. I'm happy you were able to catch me as well. Thank you so much. And if I haven't said hello to you, it's just because I can't see your name just yet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, happy to catch you, Coach, and I'm happy to catch you as well. So gave you those 5 quick key shifts in core competency number 1 around the ethical standards and us being ethical coaches. The last piece I want to share with you is just this quote. Bear with me, and then I'm going to close out. I'm going to invite you to connect with us, and I know my team will put it there in the comments. Connect with us at ICLI Rising. It is our level 1, level 2, and soon level 3 coach training school. We are so grateful to be an international coaching and leadership institute. We would love for you to connect with us. If you want to connect with a mentor coach, we're happy to connect you with one of our mentor coaches as well. And again, it's iclirising.com. Okay, so I want to share something just before I head out. Okay, so I want to share this quote with you. Excuse me. Why ethics is so important. Why is ethics in coaching so important? It's so important because when we skip agreements, when we give advice, when we coach from our egos, oh my goodness, when we coach from ego, what we're actually doing is we're eroding trust. We're possibly damaging the relationship and maybe even losing the power of the coaching partnership. This is our goal, is partnership, to be right there with our client, supporting them all the way. And what I love about this coaching work and this coaching profession, and the reason I love coach training so much is because coach training is also leadership development. Can you imagine if you reminded yourself of that as a leader? To not skip agreements, right? Or an agreement doesn't just mean contract, but things that you actually agree to. Not skipping agreements, not always offering advice, but actually listening to your team members, your colleagues, your coworkers, really listening to them. And not sharing and engaging from ego. Can you imagine the shift that's possible in your organization? The shift that's possible, the transformation that's possible for you? I can. I can, and that's why I do what I do. So thank you all again for being here with me. I'm so grateful. I have some wonderful announcements coming down the pike. Please stay connected with me. I can't wait to share. I can't wait to share with you. I'll be back with you again at least one more time before shutting it all down and taking what promises to be a wonderful, wonderful vacation for myself. I look forward to seeing you next week. Ciao for now. Bye, coach leaders and leader coaches.